Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Bearcat Breakroom here on Wake Up Call in our Great Lakes Honda City studios. Bearcat Breakroom is part of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, and no stranger to the broadcast is Stephanie Allen here with us, the head coach of the Binghamton women's lacrosse team. And as we're coming out of this 2025 season, we have the opportunity to catch up with Stephanie about the program itself and our Bearcats that we appreciate and respect. So, Steph, first and foremost, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. And I do want to, so I just had recently on the broadcast Liv Muscolino, and I knew Liv from her time with Baldwinsville in high school. And I know her family, got to know her sister and her in a broadcast that we do every month at Pizza Man. We bring on the Baldwinsville Bees throughout the year, so we have girls lacrosse all the time. So I feel
Yeah.
spoiled to have had her before and throughout her career. I can't believe the career's done, but I'd love to get your thoughts on who Binghamton put forward as their NCAA Woman of the Year nominee.
Unfortunately, the coaches actually don't get to be a part of that, but pleasantly surprised and no one more deserving than Olivia Muscolino for that honor and recognition, just for her leadership, but also her service to the community. As a program, we work hand in hand with our local Special Olympics crew. And she's somebody that's kind of been a ringleader over the course of her career and facilitating our efforts to go out and run their weekly practices. And this year, for better or worse, we got to be at their spring games. It always falls on our conference tournament weekend. And so, our players got to be a part of the celebration of those athletes as well. And Liv was front and center and a part of that and celebrating those athletes. So just somebody that's, displays a ton of servant leadership and very proud to have her represent the university as our selection for Women of the Year.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, to have someone of that magnitude and of that leadership, I'd love to get your take on what that does for your program, because student athletes do not just have an effect on the field in the moment. If you find the right ones, they can have a ripple effect through history even when they're done. So not just Liv, but the alumni that we have here for Binghamton women's lacrosse, what can you say to those ripple effects that they leave with your program?
Just in terms of like the leadership,
Yeah,
is that
just
what you're
just kind of
referring to?
what they do, and like when you're building and you want to have sustained success, just what you think about the caliber of student and athlete like Olivia Muscolino
Yeah.
coming through here, just what they do that even when they're not a part of the program, they've still helped you get towards something, take another step.
Yeah, I think it's those foundational blocks that they are leaving and kind of carving out a path for the future Bearcats that come through this program. To be a student athlete here at Binghamton, you have to have that drive for excellence to begin with. And that's something that Olivia has, that a number of our seniors leaving this program possess, and a number of them before them. It's something that you have to pursue excellence every day and in every matter of your life. And, you can't just skirt by here. You have to put a lot into it. You have to, prepare in a multitude of ways. And it takes dedication, it takes a lot of heart. And for something that they're passionate about, like our program, and seeing it, raise in just notoriety. I think the competitive level that we're playing at now, in our leadership has been a big part of that.
And when you look at this season specifically coming out of 2025, what you can say about that senior leadership. I know you had some seniors here as well as, living in the grad student world for this specific roster for 2025. What can you say to that leadership group that is going to be moving on?
Yeah, just a huge appreciation to each and every one of them. They kind of all have individual styles and way which they led the past couple years for us, and especially to Sophia Salgado, that we thankfully got an extra year from. She's somebody that just commands attention when she speaks, and everybody highly regards in terms of her lacrosse knowledge and her commitment to this program. And, unfortunately lost her for a good chunk of the season out on the field due to injury. But I think it was impressive to see the fight that she had to get back out on the field and help us through the conference portion of our season. And her voice just carries so much weight. She's going to be somebody that are tough shoes to fill. And just the six seniors graduating alongside of her, um, tremendously energetic spirits. They're people that put a smile on your face every day and just exude confidence in their teammates and make you want to work hard alongside of them. All incredibly hard workers, both in the classroom and out on the field, and uh, share a common passion for the game of lacrosse.
And when we look at, like you said, them all working together toward a common goal and leaving a lot of great things here with this team, the record is something that I always say all the time. If you simply look at a record of a game itself, if you look at a record of a season, it will not adequately show you everything that's come from that season. What is it beyond the record of Binghamton women's lacrosse this season that people need to see and need to know as we step forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that other people can look past the record, not the outcome that we were hoping for, but there was a lot of growth. We lost a large class last season and fought through a good amount of injuries this season. I think it was our perseverance as a program. While we had some tough one goal games or very close games, this team never lost hope,
Yeah.
never had doubt in our abilities to kind of grow and learn from game to game. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can look back at now is that growth mindset that they had. They were always learning and taking away from past competitions and had that eagerness to go out there and improve every single day we hit the field.
Yeah, and when you look back on this season in 2025, you faced off against the likes of St. Francis, looking out of conference, St. Francis, Villanova, Colgate, Siena, St. Bonnie's, Marist, Campbell, as well as Brown, Manhattan, and Cornell outside of the America East. To go into that non-conference schedule and your takeaways from that and your willingness to go out and play a lot of these teams across the state of New York, as well as teams throughout the Northeast, just how you reflect on the non-conference schedule as you're assembling something like that.
I mean, I think we try every single season to set up a non-conference schedule that's going to challenge us in different ways, whether it's new opponents that we have to strategically prepare for and challenge ourselves in that way, or just elevate the level of intensity and competitiveness that we're presenting on game day. And I think we had a good variety of that throughout our non-conference schedule, and a taste of different caliber teams, but different styles of offenses and defenses that were going to test us along the way. Last year we had a few different opponents on the schedule out of region. This year, probably a few more closer to home. And
Yeah.
I think over the course of the next couple seasons, you'll see a little variety in there. In terms of our scheduling, but we like to play some of those relatively regional games, for travel purposes, but also for fan support and ability to get our families and friends out there in the stands, whether it's a home or away game as well, and attract fans in the stands.
Yeah, and like you said, playing these teams, across like the regional, across the state of New York, that always creates opportunities to have those fun in-state rivalries, right? When you go up against a
Yeah.
Siena, a St. Bonnie's, as well as we're looking at Manhattan, Cornell, and so on and Colgate as well. Is that something that, as you put things together, like you said, the next couple of years are going to have like a balance of regional, maybe out of regional? Are there certain schools within the state of New York that you feel like, hey, this is going to help us in recruiting, this is going to help us in exposure, and this is going to be really good for our families and a lot of our fans to get out to? Do you try to keep some similarities from season to season within the state of New York? Are there some programs that you really feel, hey, we have a great relationship with this program, so we're going to keep these going?
Yeah, I think a lot of it does have to do with the relationships I have with the coaching staff at those institutions and, the kind of unwritten agreement that we're going to keep that, scheduled, year to year, regardless of, it being in writing, but we're going to do our best to kind of keep that on the schedule because it challenges us in a really good way. A couple of those just don't work out logistically because of gaps in our scheduling and some of these conference expansions, adding, new elements to their scheduling challenges. And so that's, shown on our schedule and the loss of a couple of opponents that we've had in years past. But I think, there's certainly going to be some common opponents that you always see in the mix that are either easy trips for us or great friendships that I have in the coaching world that will kind of agree to keep each other on the non-conference slate.
Yeah, and when we look within the conference itself, in the America East for women's lacrosse, there's 7 programs. And with those 7 programs, obviously you play everybody once. Would you like to see an expansion of the America East or the opportunity to maybe play a few more games, see somebody more than once? Is there something within conference that you'd like to see change?
Yeah, I don't think that's typical within a conference to in lacrosse at least to see an opponent more than once
Yeah.
in the regular season. So I think probably keeping it to once per season until you get into the conference tournament possibly. But I would love to see our conference expand. If NJIT were to add a women's lacrosse team, I think that would be a great opponent to add into the mix of our already competitive conference opponents. And yeah, I know some other programs or institutions that have been in conversations over the last several years. None of them have maybe panned out at this point, but I know it's always a possibility.
Yeah, and having you Albany, there once was a time that Stony Brook called this home, right? So you've dealt with that realignment over the years. How do you, as a coach, kind of navigate through something like that? I know you can only play the teams that are in front of you, but when the conference does change, just how you find your way to kind of work around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we welcome challenges like that within our schedule and additions to the America East. Really proud to be a representative of an elite level conference. I think a conference that really exemplifies student athlete and pushes for that excellence in the classroom just as much as the lacrosse field itself or the playing field itself. And so, we welcome new additions to the conference, and that's always a challenge that we kind of have to work around. Should that be added into the mix, and just like any challenge to the schedule that we face, teams dropping you last minute and having to kind of scramble and find a new opponent, or conflicts that arise, and sometimes we're having to move games around because of certain events being held on campuses. And so it's nothing foreign to us as head coaches and something that we deal with all the time, and you just got to kind of roll with the punches.
Well, and that's the thing, Steph, is like, can a head coach be a head coach, in your opinion? I know Binghamton's different because we talk about student and student athlete, and Binghamton cares about that. Not everybody does. So the level of caliber of your athlete also has to match the level of caliber of your student that's going to be at Binghamton. Do you feel that that the Bearcats are living in a world where you can continue to be your unique self as we look at NIL and the transfer portal and realignment, all these things that are going on around the country? Do you feel that because Binghamton put such an emphasis on things outside of the world of sports, that there's still this Binghamton identity that's lasting through the last 5 years where things have been really confusing?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm proud to be at an institution that really attracts like I've kind of already used the word before, it high excelling student athletes, and you're walking away with a degree that's really reputable and something that's going to land you in the work world or workforce in a really good, solid spot. And I think that's something that we're promoting and selling beyond the lacrosse community and program that you get to be a part of here. And it kind of separates Binghamton from some of the other mid majors out there that might be struggling to find out what that identity is during a really uncertain time, in terms of the rich are getting richer right now with NIL and the opt-in and revenue sharing, and it's kind of a scramble to figure out where Binghamton falls in that mix. But at the end of the day, we have an institution that attracts a certain caliber of individual, and something that I'm really proud to be able to recruit to. And what you get to walk away with 4 years later is something that holds a lot of weight.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, having this continued identity that Binghamton has that's so special in this world where you're trying to essentially figure everything out. When you're recruiting, are you getting new questions as a head coach now? Are you getting the, hey, what's the NIL situation? Hey, how many portal people are you looking to take? Like, do you feel that the questions are different? Do you feel like the approach is different? Are you spending nights up late with a cup of coffee on the transfer portal at 3 a.m.? Like, how has your life as a coach adjusted to what's going on right now? Is it a lot of different? Is a lot of, hey, Steph, what are we doing with NIL? Are you hearing that? Are you doing more portal work? Or do you feel like, hey, that hasn't really touched us as much as maybe somewhere else?
Yeah, there's always the trickle down effect, and some are reaping, a lot of the effects of that a lot quicker and heavier than we are, maybe. But I do think that there is an impact on us. For us, the transfer portal opened yesterday, and it's been flooded with individuals going in there, and certainly going to see more people be added to that over the course of the next couple weeks as this roster cap NCAA settlement kind of smooths itself out. And, unfortunately, you can probably see some of those programs with larger roster sizes start to skim down to that 38 roster cap for women's lacrosse, and, forced to see some individuals enter the portal. So, yes, we're heavily invested in the portal right now, but keeping an eye, knowing that there's still more to come, and programs are still playing, and certainly some of those programs that we know currently have rosters over 38. So time will kind of tell over the next couple of weeks what happens, with slimming down of some of those rosters. But yeah, I think a lot has changed over the last 5 to 10 years in terms of recruiting and the questions that were being asked. There's been just a lot of uncertainty over the course of the last two recruiting cycles,
Yeah.
in terms of what does it look like and what will your roster size be. And um, you know some things we don't have answers to yet, or didn't, during some of the heavier recruiting months, as we were looking at high school students. But yeah, I think a lot has just changed in the college landscape altogether, in terms of coaches looking at the transfer portal to, somebody that possibly has a little bit more college experience and has had to deal with the day to day balancing academics and athletics, and been through the grind. It's certainly not something easy to tackle, and dipping their toes in it and getting a feel for it, going into the portal, maybe that to some coaches is a little more enticing than a freshman coming in trying to figure it out for the first time.
Yeah, and I mean, for you, I mean, we know and we made mention, you'll recruit where you need to recruit. Obviously, you recruit through the state of New York and the Northeast, and really, honestly, wherever you feel like is going to be a good fit. But going to the portal, do you feel like for you as a coach, like, hey, these roster caps now, because the autonomous four have to agree to them, the
Mhm.
ACC, no matter what, has to agree. The Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC. they have to live with that. So is there a world where Stephanie Allen is looking in here and saying, all right, you know what, Virginia's got some stuff, Syracuse has some stuff, we're looking at South Carolina, maybe there's somebody in Tennessee. I mean, can this be a really good thing for Binghamton and for your program, that once these roster caps are there and put into place and you got to be at 38, that you can now go out and have conversations with some of these players that have been around for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. And at elite level programs that, you know, maybe we attract some individuals from outside of New York State, but maybe just, regional student athletes that ventured out somewhere beyond the scope of New York State and are now wanting to get themselves back closer to home and finding a place like Binghamton that they could really excel. So we're being strategic about it, but certainly staying open-minded and excited to kind of see what happens over the course of the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and for you, you just finished up, if I'm correct here, year 13. So
Gosh, yeah.
bring me into, from your seat, Steph. How have you grown as a coach? How have you evolved as a coach? What do you see out of yourself now that wasn't necessarily visible to you 13 years ago?
Oh, that's a very loaded question. A lot has changed. I can still tell you and promise you that I have the same passion and vigor for this as I did when I first got into this profession, and I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't still love it. Just managing people looks differently these
Yeah.
days. The attention spans are certainly different, and access to technology has vastly changed or improved, let's say. So there's some tremendous positives, but some adjustments that we've had to make and grow. I think for me, I'm always trying to be a student of the game and trying to learn and from my own staff, but from my peers and mentors as well. And from that standpoint, I think my lacrosse IQ and coaching X's and O's has evolved a lot over time. But I think just the management of people and how we kind of connect with the student athlete and this generation is certainly different than when I started this gig, and learning how to adapt and adjust every single year.
Yeah, and it's been a lot because now a head coach is more of a general manager, it feels like at times too.
Yeah.
So, Steph, a final note here: lacrosse out cancer. I know it's something that your team has worked on and been a part of, and I'd love to just make a note of not only that, but anything that you did this season that you felt like really helped bring the team together, was a good bonding moment, and had a bigger scope and a bigger picture than simply lacrosse.
Yeah. I mean, we try and create a really intentional schedule, and we call them kind of our promotional schedules that we can give back to some type of organization or promote awareness around some type of entity beyond the walls of Binghamton for each of our home games. And our connection with Lacrosse Out Cancer actually started last season. Unintentionally, intentionally, our athletic trainer and director of sports medicine at the time, Kara Gorgos, was diagnosed with lymphoma, and we really wanted to raise awareness about the cancer that she had and what she was going through
Yeah.
during her treatments, and was connected to Bonnie Lattimore through Lacrosse Out Cancer. And I know it's a pediatric research organization, but it was just kind of a twofold for us to bring awareness to the you know cancer research and how important it is. Certainly, the pediatric side of that is even more important these days with kind of the funding issues that they're facing now, and anything that we can do to help our young ladies understand that there's a bigger picture to the platform that they have here as student athletes, and even the social media attention that they garner. So us sharing information on our social media that they can then repost on their own individual accounts. We were able to raise nearly $1,500 for the lacrosse out cancer game that we dedicated this season, heading into the Colgate competition, and did roughly around the same amount last year for them. It's something that's important to us, just in terms of bringing awareness to the research process and the funding that is necessary in order to devote more time and attention to cures, um, treatments, different things that go into providing a really steady treatment and recovery plan, making patients going through, whether it's chemo or radiation, really comfortable during the process, or as comfortable as possible. And so it's just something that we really wanted to devote time to as a coaching staff. And there's a couple of organizations like that that we just make sure that we're promoting awareness, and our team has that ability and outreach beyond the scopes of our locker room to talk about it, to share with peers, to bring attention to things that are so much bigger than Binghamton or Binghamton women's lacrosse.
Yeah, and to speak to that point, ending the season with a Special Olympics game as well. So
Yeah.
a lot of wonderful things happening with Binghamton. I'm sorry that when I told you 13 years, I saw your face go, oh, yeah. So, but
You get reminded sometimes.
but I
Time flies.
I will say this to you, Stephanie. To me, since starting with my coverage in this partnership with Binghamton University, your student athletes have been great, and you have been great in giving of your time and always bringing positivity and a good message to it. So, my best as you step forward in recruiting and as you step into 2026 as well. But a lot of respect to you and your staff and your student athletes for how you handle yourselves at Binghamton and what it means to be a Bearcat. So beyond everything, I do want to say thank you once again for the work that you do and the type of coach that you are.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that.
I want to thank you for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT for audio and video, and our live internet streaming radio that comes to you on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. And of course, once we go live, we jump into the archives, and you can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And many thanks to the wonderful Brooklyn Pickle in Southern Pines, North Carolina. From New York to North Carolina, you'll find them on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina, right down the road from Pinehurst Golf Course that the PGA Tour knows all too well. That New York flavor, a sandwich, all of those great sandwiches, all the ingredients, all of the wonderful things we've been spoiled with in the great state of New York are down in North Carolina as the Brooklyn Pickle ventures down the coast to Southern Pines on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Let them know that DT sent you. And of course, many thanks to our team of partners in Central and Upstate New York, Great Lakes Honda City, where you can go Monday through Saturday for sales and service and get yourself new and used vehicles. If you want to tour what they have on the lot, go to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. You also get the phone numbers there for their sales and service at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. And I want to thank Great Lakes Honda City for over a decade of me bringing home vehicles that I have enjoyed. So many thanks to Great Lakes Honda City, our exclusive studio partner. Carvel DeWitt, the exclusive home of the DT Dolphin. It's our ode to the Lemoyne College Dolphins. You will find our DT Dolphin Sunday on site, on location, down the road from Lemoyne College on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. Carvel DeWitt, the longest standing franchise in America with the DT Dolphin exclusive. And that is mint chocolate chip, whipped cream, and a cherry, hot fudge, green and gold sprinkles, and a chocolate dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream. Get it 7 days a week, and on Wednesdays, buy one, get one. The Wildcat Sports Pub, where we proudly call home to our West Genesee shows of over 8 years. With the West Genesee Wildcats coaches and student athletes, as well as their families, you'll find us at the Wildcat Sports Pub on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. GG Cards and Breaks, your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. A place that helps you be a big kid, no matter what your age is. And you can celebrate it with your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your neighbors, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. GG Cards and Breaks is a place for everyone of all ages, because our kid spirit should always, always be vibrant and strong. GG Cards and Breaks, where you can find them Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5, and of course, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse is the location. And monthly, we have Trade Night, where you could buy, sell, and trade sports cards, as well as Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Disney Lorcana. Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. You'll find Ma and Pa's on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, with multiple types of freeze-dried candy, as well as cotton candy, lemonade, and a plethora of flavors when it comes to kettle corn, popcorn, and premium corn, like the Elvis, which is banana-covered popcorn with the peanut butter Reese's drizzle, the way that Elvis liked peanut butter and banana. All of the wonderful things that you see are made in-house at Ma & Pa's. The lemonade, the cotton candy, the freeze-dried candy, as well as the popcorn and kettle corn. Find it all on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And if you're out of town and you want to order it, and I just made your mouth water, go to Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com and you can order today. Avocolis are home of our Liverpool athletic broadcast with student athletes, coaches, and administration every single month on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, at the corner of Wetzel Road and Route 57. And if you stand on the corner, you can see Liverpool High School within walking distance of Avocolis, open 7 days a week. As well as Servomation, reinvigorating, re-energizing, reimagining what it is to have vending, whether it be at your high school, your grammar school, your preschool, your college, university, place of business, rest stop, airport. Servomation, the technology they have, the assortment, the variety that they have, and the quality of food. I've toured their facility in upstate New York, and you wouldn't believe the kitchen. There's restaurants that would beg to have a kitchen like this. Servomation does it differently, and I'm very happy to say that we are partnered with them. ServOmation.com. Go there for more information. Mother's Cupboard, the home of my breakfast sandwich exclusively in Central New York, 3709 James Street in Syracuse, 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. You will find the Cuse McMother, bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Cut it up and have it with some syrup. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich and dip it in the syrup, and do it today. Chick-fil-A Cicero, the first Chick-fil-A in Central New York, and owner-operator Jim Rusakowski, a brother of mine. You don't want to miss out on Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A Cicero specifically is a step above, in my opinion. There's people that are proud to see you, team members that are incredible. Chick-fil-A Cicero, they do it to the nth degree. They break the mold, and you can find those team members in our series, The Light Between Us, which airs every single month. Go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and search the Light Between Us playlist. Canine Camp Dog Daycare. There's no better place to bring your dog out in East Syracuse. Daycare. Hey, we all got stuff going on, and sometimes we just have to drop our dog off so that our dog's not sitting at home in a kennel or just being at home by themselves. The daycare at Canine Camp Dog Daycare on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, across from BJ's, is the perfect place to go because of Lorraine, because of Chad, because of the care, concern, and the service to our wonderful animals. Head over there today, and of course you can call them at 315-437-7110 or go online to K-9KAMP.com. Pizza Man, who we absolutely love going every single month and having our Baldwinsville Bees broadcast at Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York. You don't want to miss any of those shows we do on site, on location, including Off the Rails with Al, featuring college football national champion Al Romano, who played with Tony Dorsett as a Pittsburgh Panther and hails from Solvay. A lot of great things we get to do at Pizza Man. Love the Bees and appreciate the support that you have for their student athletes, coaches, administration, and families. And Brian's Landing, a place that we love to go out to in Jamesville. Brian's Landing, the menu that they have is eclectic. There's nothing on that menu where you sit there and go, oh, okay, like this is what the menu is because these 5 things are alike. No, everything is different. Something for everyone. 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. The perfect place to go with a team, the perfect place to go with a friend, the perfect place to go on a date or bring mom and dad. Brian's Landing makes you feel like you're away from home on a vacation when you're just out in Jamesville by the water. Head to Brian's Landing today. And of course, many thanks to the Lemoyne College Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, and the Binghamton University Bearcats for being our exclusive multimedia marketing partners. Lemoyne you will find Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time during Dolphin Time. And of course, you'll find Binghamton on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time during Bearcat Time. All of our teams are on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find our Lemoyne playlist, our BSC Syracuse playlist, and our Binghamton playlist. You'll also find the Dolphins, the Bobcats, and the Bearcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com as well as Syracuse.bscbobcats.com and BinghamtonBearcats.com. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say God bless, no stress, do your best. This is Wake Up Call. I'm Dan Tortora, and remember, God loves you.